Pastorius was born on December 1951 in Norristown, Pennsylvania, the oldest of three boys born to Stephanie Catherine, who was of Finnish descent, and musician John Francis Pastorius, a singer and jazz drummer who spent much of his time on the road. His family moved to Oakland Park near Fort Lauderdale when he was 8. Early American abolitionist Francis Daniel Pastorius is his ancestor. The origins of Pastorius' nickname Jaco is disputed. There is an interview with Jaco's father, Jack Pastorius, that took place in 2001, hosted by Bob Miles. Jack says that he was given the nickname during his service in the Navy. He later began calling Pastorius by this nickname in his early childhood. In the Robert Trujillo documentary, Jaco Pastorius' brother said that their mother came up with the nickname. It is also believed that the nickname was partially influenced by his love for sports as well as the umpire Jocko Conlan. In 1974, he began spelling it Jaco after it was misspelled by his neighbor pianist Alex Darqui. His brother called him Mowgli, after the wild boy in the Jungle Book, because he was energetic and spent much of his time shirtless on the beach, climbing trees, running through the woods, and swimming in the ocean. He attended St. Clement's Catholic School in Wilton Manors, Florida, and was an altar boy at St. Clement's Church. His confirmation name was Anthony. He was intensely competitive and excelled at baseball, basketball, and football. And he played drums until he injured his wrist playing football when he was 13. The damage was severe enough to warrant corrective surgery and inhibited his ability to play the drums. In short, before recording his debut album, Pastorius attended a concert in Miami by the jazz fusion band Weather Report. After the concert, he approached keyboardist Joe Zawinul, who led the band. As was his habit, he introduced himself by saying, "I'm John Francis Pastorius III. I'm the greatest bass player in the world." Zawinul admired his brashness and asked for a demo tape. After listening to the tape, Zawinul realized that Pastorius had considerable skill. They corresponded, and Pastorius sent Zawinul a rough mix of his solo album. After bassist Alfonso Johnson left Weather Report, Zawinul asked Pastorius to join the band. Pastorius made his band debut on the album Black Market, in which he shared the bass chair with Johnson. Pastorius was fully established as sole band bass player for the recording of Heavy Weather, which contained the Grammy-nominated hit Birdland. During his time with Weather Report, Pastorius began abusing alcohol and illegal drugs, which exacerbated existing mental problems and led to erratic behavior. He left Weather Report in 1982 because of clashes with tour commitments for his other projects, plus a growing dissatisfaction with Zawinul's synthesized and orchestrated approach to the band's music. Warner Brothers signed Pastorius to a favorable contract in the late 1970s based on his groundbreaking skill and his star quality, which they hoped would lead to large sales. He used this contract to set up his word-of-mouth big band, which consisted of Chuck Findlay on trumpet, Howard Johnson on tuba, Wayne Shorter, Michael Brecker and Tom Scott on reeds, Toots Thielmans on harmonica, Kenwood Denard, Peter Erskine and Jack DeJohnette on drums, and Don Alias on percussion. This was the group that recorded his second solo album, Word of Mouth. In 1982, Pastorius toured with Word of Mouth as a 21-piece big band. While in Japan, to the alarm of his band members, he shaved his head, painted his face black, and threw his bass guitar into Hiroshima Bay. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in late 1982 after the tour. Pastorius had shown signs of bipolar disorder before his diagnosis, but these signs were dismissed as eccentricities, character flaws, and by Pastorius himself as a normal part of his freewheeling personality. Pastorius played a number of Fender Jazz Basses over the years, but the most famous was a 1962 jazz bass that he called the Bass of Doom. When he was 21, Pastorius acquired the bass, which was modified by removing the frets. It is unclear when the frets were removed, as his recollections varied over the years. One story is that he used a common butter knife to remove the frets and sealed the fretboard with epoxy resin. In 1986, the bass was repaired by luthiers Kevin Kaufman and Jim Hamilton after it had been broken into many pieces. After the repair, Pastorius recorded a session with Mike Stern. Then the bass was stolen from a park bench in Manhattan in 1986. It was found in a guitar shop in 2006, but the shop owner refused to give it up. The Pastorius family enlisted lawyers to help, but nearly went bankrupt in 2010. Robert Trujillo, bassist for Metallica, considered Pastorius to be one of his heroes, and he felt that the family ought to have the bass. Trujillo helped pay to have it returned to them, though he has used it live and is its custodian.